All right, should we do another review?
Yeah, I think so. So I'll go with my one now. So we're going to look at Family Romance
I'm
LLC.
excited for this one.
Yeah, well, so this is a Werner Herzog
Mm.
film, and obviously we're well aware of Werner Herzog. He's one of the most illustrious and most renowned directors in the industry,
He's
really, isn't
also
he?
got a fucking great voice as well.
He does have a pretty good voice. In fact, he's been used for loads of voice work
Oh
in
yeah.
other things. He's like one of the most iconic voices. But yeah, the film Family Romance LLC. It's a drama and it's based on a real story. Well, I say that it's based on a real company out of Japan that's run by Ishi Yuchi, and it's basically it's like a rental company where for certain social scenarios, someone might want to hire someone to be like a family member or a friend or just an extra in their lives basically, and so if you need someone to step in to be the dad at your wedding, or you need to look more popular in front of a girl you're trying to impress. So you get a load of friends to come over and hype you up or something.
Yeah.
And it's this kind of thing, and it's meant to be like a no strings attached, like we're just getting someone to step in temporarily because there is a level of kind of like loneliness or something.
Yeah, and I'm just going to point out that to Western people, this may sound ridiculous, but we've both been to Japan,
Yeah.
and they do have a lot. Like they've got these cuddle hotels and stuff where you can go just to feel human contact for a few hours, and like it's not a foreign concept in Asia.
Yeah. Well, I think that's we can get into that massively, but I think being a little bit more upfront about these kind of personal relationships is probably something that we could learn a lot from in general. But obviously, these things come up with their own complexities, and so this storyline, although based on the real company, is I've read fictionalized, but it's about the core story is a 12-year-old girl who has no contact with her father, and her mother hires this guy to play her father, and there are some complications because they start to get a little bit more attached than they're meant to in this
Mm.
contracted kind of situation.
Yeah, yeah.
And so you have this whole thing about like performative roles in your life, and like there's a bit of a moment where you're not really sure how much of it is real and how much of it is falsified, and that's kind of like another feature that comes into the filmmaking itself, because obviously Werner Herzog has done a lot of documentaries, and so his style for filming this, it's all handheld, it's very intimate, it's very close, and it reads as a documentary when you watch it. And so because of that, you kind of get suckered in yourself a little bit as to like, well, how real is this and how fake is it? And like it's only since reading about it afterwards, because it was a really weird thing to unpack for me, that I realized like, okay, so maybe some of this isn't actually that legitimate, maybe some of it's kind of weird, and there were some weird moments in the storyline as well that didn't really add up, and I was like, oh god, I hope this didn't happen. Like there's some, if you watch it, there'll be a weird bit where you kind of want to say kidnap, but then you're not
Okay.
really sure. So
Right.
anyway, but yeah, I don't know. It seemed really interesting. The fact that he he spoke to this guy Ishi Yuchi.
The guy who actually runs the real
Yeah,
life company.
the guy that runs it. He spoke to him and he wanted him to be involved in casting, and then actually cast him. So he played himself. Is quite an interesting kind of thing, because I mean I was a little bit skeptical, because I have to say, like, there were some moments where I thought the acting was really nice and genuine, but then there were other moments where I felt like actually you can really tell this is like someone that doesn't have any experience in acting and is
Mm.
trying very hard to create like an image of yourself in the way that you like try and create like how you want to be seen by other people, and being very aware of the camera. So
Yeah.
that kind of like ruined it a little bit for me at
Yeah,
times.
because I read a bit about it before we've done this episode, but I remember it's Werner Herzog saying that they during the casting phase he did go. What's the guy's name?
Ichi Yushi.
Ichi. Yeah, he went to
Sorry, Yuchi.
Yuchi. He went to him and just said, "Look, I think you should do it. And apparently he was really skeptical, saying that I'm not an actor, I can't do this, and he had to be persuaded into it. So I think it was a risk Werner Herzog took, and he would have known that.
Yeah.
So it's not surprising it didn't always pay off.
I think it was also, you could tell that it was very compassionately done. You can tell that, you know, this was a real labour of love, and so, you know, it had a good feel to it. But, you know, I have to see it as a film and not as like this kind of weird kind of conceptual experiment. And so, like, you know, a really good concept, but actually not delivered incredibly well, in my opinion.
Okay.
And so I thought that the structure was a little bit too flaky for me. So I've gone ahead and given it a 5 out of 10.
Fair enough. I mean, it could have been worse.
Yeah,
I feel like we're slowly discovering that you're going to be the harsher score-wise than me. I'm quite generous with mine.
Maybe a little bit.
All right. Well, it doesn't sound. I'm still kind of interested to watch purely because I like the work of Werner Herzog.
It's very interesting.
Yeah, I feel like I'd probably still give it a go anyway.
Yeah, definitely.